Another Part of Me, one of the songs from the Bad album that I think we as Michael Jackson fans all know and love. It's a high energy track, and to be honest with you, I have not met a single person that says that they didn't like it before. Today, we're going to be going into Another Part of Me. It's going to be like a miniature deep dive, and I invited on a guest that we've had here before. He's a friend of mine, a journalist, so much more. He has also written some really cool articles, including an article specifically about Another Part of Me. Welcome to the show, Chris Lacy.
Hey, thanks for welcoming me back. I appreciate it.
Good to see you, Chris. How you been?
I'm doing well, doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. People really were
Good.
loving the last video that we did where we did like our custom playlists.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was so much fun and going through the comments section. Thank you everybody for putting your playlists in there. It was good to geek out with you guys in the comments. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And like today, I think it's so fitting that we would have you on because you have this really awesome article that you wrote about Another Part of Me.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wrote it several years ago and it's my favorite Michael Jackson song of all time. So you don't need to twist my arm to get me to gush about it. So I'm glad you invited me back.
Awesome. Now let's just I want to introduce you to some of the folks that might not have seen the other videos that we've done before or read your articles. Let's talk about Chris. So Chris has a unique and deeply personal connection to Michael Jackson and his loyal fan base. Chris Lacy is a self-taught hip-hop choreographer whose passion for Michael's artistry opened doors for him to work with the late Stephen Twitch Boss from So You Think You Can Dance. At 12 years old, Chris was diagnosed with vitiligo, the same hereditary skin condition that changed Michael's appearance in the 1980s. Beyond that, Chris has made a name for himself as a music journalist with MJ articles featured on Wikipedia, Medium, and Albumism. His insights has also landed him guest appearances on the MJ Cast, Brad Sundberg's In the Studio with MJ seminars, and I have to also add in my girls, Black Jackson Estate, and
Yeah.
my channel, MJ Fangirl. So, Chris, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Anytime that I can be on somebody's, podcast or platform, to talk honestly about Michael Jackson, I'll never shy away from that opportunity. So again, thank you for welcoming me back.
Absolutely. Now, let's just get into it right away, straight out of the
Yeah,
gate.
let's go.
What first of all, what made you want to write about your favorite song? Another
Yeah,
Part of Me.
yes, that's a great question. Apart from it being my favorite song, anytime that I'm having conversations with fans online or on Facebook pages, things like that, it's rare that I heard Another Part of Me mentioned. Like you'll always hear, Billie Jean, Man in the Mirror, Stranger in Moscow, songs like that. But I'm like, yo, like, where's the love for Another Part of Me? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? If there's something that I want to read online, but nobody's written it yet, then it's on me to write it. So I did a few years ago, and a lot of people enjoyed it, and a lot of fans went back with a greater appreciation after reading what I had to say. So I would say mission accomplished after that.
That's really cool. And, you're so right. That is a song that we really don't talk about as a fan base. And definitely the mainstream media reviews and publications like Billboard and that, they never really touch upon it. So
Yeah.
it's cool that you kind of took it in your own hands and showed it that love.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I could share a quick story on why I got drawn to it so much, if that's okay.
Yeah, please tell us.
All right, cool. So, for anybody that grew up watching '90s action movies, many of you may recall Rush Hour, the first one, where we get to see Chris Tucker's character for the first time, and he ends up blowing up a car at the beginning. Spoiler alert for anybody that hadn't seen the movie since 1998. Um, but but there's a car that explodes, and then Chris Tucker's like, yeah, and he just starts busting out dancing, and you hear Another Part of Me in the background, and that was the first moment that I fell in love with that song. So yeah,
You
Chris
know,
Tucker just he had me in stitches in that scene.
that's funny because now that you're saying that, I'm now remembering that that's the song that was playing in the background. But
That's right.
if you had not said that to me, I would have thought that it was like "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." But that's another moment from I think another Rush Hour.
Yeah, that
So
was in the second one when they're in the karaoke bar. Yeah.
yeah, so that's cool. Shout out to Chris Tucker.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Chris Tucker. He's one of the good ones, man. Love that guy. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to actually read a little quote that I got from Michael Jackson's autobiography, Moonwalk. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
if the
please.
folks out there have not read Moonwalk, you definitely have to read it. It's one of the spots that you can find Michael's telling his truth in his own words about his creative process. And just, we really didn't get that much from Michael during his lifetime. So to me, I always go back to this book. And this is what he said about the Bad album. He said, "We worked on Bad for a long time, years. In the end, it was worth it because we were satisfied with what we had achieved. But it was difficult too. There was a lot of tension because we felt we were competing with ourselves. It's very hard to create something when you feel like you're in competition with yourself because no matter how you look at it, people are always going to compare Bad to Thriller. You can always say, 'Aw, forget Thriller,' but no one ever will. I think I have a slight advantage in all of this because I always do my best work under pressure."
Mm.
Okay, so for those of you that might not know, another part of me is on the Bad album. So I thought that was really relevant. Uh, and just some quick facts about the song. Its release date as a single was July 11th, 1988. And it was the sixth single from the Bad album. And there were four versions of this for the single: the extended dance mix, radio edit, dub mix, and the acapella. And another part of me did pretty well on the charts, but there's some interesting facts about how it charted in relation to the other singles on the album. Chris, I know this is something that you know about, so can you chat with us about that?
Yeah, yeah. So, Bad, and still to this day, it is the first and only album by a male artist that had five consecutive number one hits. I Just Can't Stop Loving You, Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Man in the Mirror, and Dirty Diana. And when Another Part of Me was chosen as the sixth single, it ended that streak only by, tragically, but it ended up charting in at number 11 on the pop chart. So to me, it's still a success, but I could see how in the eyes of some critics are like, "Oh, it's a failure." But to me, I'm like, if it's me, I'm like, I would hope that I fail on that level. I mean, if I got a song that reached number 11 on the pop chart, I think I'm doing okay. But yeah, that song broke the streak. But to me, there's a much deeper meaning to Another Part of Me. So like, chart positions and Billboard success and stuff, that only tells part of the story to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And the song has such a long-lasting legacy because not only was it on the Bad album, but it was also featured in Captain EO, which we're
Hmm.
going to touch upon a little later in this chat. But first, I want to talk about the origin of the song and the
Yeah.
recording of it. So, according to what I've heard, this was worked on um, at Westlake Studios, also at Havenhurst Studios,
Yes.
but I think mainly at Havenhurst, right? Was
That's
that
correct. Yeah. Yeah. He was working with his B team for like the first year or so, because I believe Quincy Jones was working on The Color Purple around this time. So Michael in like early '85 was working with people like Matt Forger, John Barnes, Chris Carell, uh, Bill Bottrell as well. Like he's just working with a tight knit group of people. And Another Part of Me was one of the songs that they worked on. And I believe Brad Sumberg, who does in the studio with MJ seminars, this was his first entry point of working with Michael as well, working on Captain EO. So there's a little bit of overlap around this time.
Yeah, and for those people that don't know, there was an A team, right, which was kind of Quincy Jones' team that worked with Michael, uh, and then Michael kind of had his own guys that worked for Michael separately,
Hmm.
which was called his B team, and they were um, the I think there were the four people that you just mentioned,
Right.
and so yeah, really interesting because Matt Forger had really played a big role in how this song sounded, as well as "We Are Here to Change the World," which they both kind of originated around the same time.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, now that we're talking about the B team, we have a clip that I want to play here. Solomon, if we can play that of Matt Forger and Michael Jackson in the studio.
It messes up the groove if you do it that way. Really. It's more important to get dun 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 dun
Okay. Okay. Let's listen to it back. free them and run the digital back to 9.
Sending out.
Nice. Yeah, it's cool to see because you've always heard or I've always heard these stories about how Michael really was kind of like this maestro, like he knew like all the different parts of the songs and what he wanted to hear and he would
Yeah.
try to work with the experts in the field to get it to sound that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that to me, his beatboxing skills, I think, are one of the most underrated parts of his artistry. Because for him to be able to, sing it and get, the players to imitate it is, I mean, like it's genius. So yeah, and he was able to like layer all of that. Like he would have complete songs in his head and then be able to dictate it to, a Bruce Swedian or a Matt Forger, Greg Fillinganes, whoever. And once they got it on record, it's like, okay, like, wow, like that's amazing that you were able to compose all of this in your head. And now we're getting it on record.
Yeah, and I'm constantly amazed because when I think about when people say, like, oh, but Michael Jackson didn't play any instruments, and I'm like, no, Michael Jackson was the instrument, like, his
Thank
mind
you.
was the instrument.
Thank you.
I don't know if anyone could have done, and yeah, thank you for showing this. This is the photo with Matt Forger and Michael. I believe this is at Havenhurst also.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, because on the back, yeah, I remember seeing it on the Bad 25 documentary that when Matt came back for the first time to talk about the Bad album, he said a bunch of memories just flushed back to his mind of making the album together. So yeah, no, that's a great photo there.
Yeah, it's always cool to hear about the creative process behind these things. And so we have another part of me. It gets on Captain EO, as well as We Are Here to Change the World. And the another part of me kind of sounds a little bit different. At least it does to me. I feel like it's it's an earlier iteration of the song, right? Or a different.
I've always heard that there were intended to be two different songs, but I think the essence of each song is the same. It's like it's all about unity. So I think that could be where the correlation is.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
whenever I watch Captain EO, because I've shared before on the show that like my daughter loves Captain EO, and there's this compilation of like just the two songs, We Are Here to Change the World, and Another Part of Me. It's like a 9-minute perfect video that shows those two segments. And whenever I hear the Another Part of Me on that, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit different. So somebody in the comments validate that for us. Let us know like if you know a little bit more about the history behind like those two versions.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. Yes, the version on Captain EO is different from what we get on the record. The tempo is slower. The synth bass is a little heavier. It's like da da.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. I was like, okay,
it's much
is it
heavier.
in my mind?
No, it's much heavier. Whereas on the record, it is sped up. And this is something I learned from Brad Sundberg. Is like there were several songs on the Bad album that started out slow, like The Way You Make Me Feel, Smooth Criminal, things like that. But then they needed to kind of ratchet it up a little bit because Michael loved to dance, so we need to make sure there's some dance records on there. So Another Part of Me was tweaked in a way, compared to what we heard on Captain EO.
Yes, and it's so funny because if you listen really closely to Michael's voice on there, like it sounds powerful, it's energetic, but it does sound like a little bit higher pitched or like a little bit sped up. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like you said, that's in essence what they did, right?
They did.
It has that, but it has that like that energy behind it. I think because of exactly that was the purpose.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what's interesting is that from a production standpoint, because I used to think like there was a blend of digital and organic instruments on it. So I thought that, so Brad ended up telling me that pretty much every instrument on the song is digital, and the only organic thing you hear is Michael's voice. So I thought the drums were organic. I thought there were live drums in there, but that's actually a drum machine, and it's fed through the Synclavier synthesizer. But again, I think that was, that's what's fascinating about the Bad album to me is that they were able to capture these sounds, and they sound as if they're live instruments, but a lot of it is fed through the synthesizer. So That was very fascinating to me to find out that Michael's voice is really the only organic thing on the song. And to me, like that's the heart of it, like is hearing his voice. Like he makes you believe in the song that he's singing.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing those tidbits. Yeah, I did not know. I did not know that. Like, that's so interesting. I feel
Hmm.
like, you know, watching documentary, for example, like Bad 25, like you get to hear a little bit of the story. And I've had people say this before on the channel, and they've been like, MJ Fangirl, like, what more is there to know? Like, we know all of the stuff. And I'm like, no, there's a lot that we don't know because there was a lot that was mysterious, around Michael and
Yeah.
like very private. Like he wanted a lot of privacy and a lot of like mystery around how all these projects came to be. And just now are we starting to hear these stories because of, the seminar that you mentioned or,
Yep.
other collaborators speaking out or doing interviews or us having
Hmm.
conversations like this. I'm sure people are going to hear this and be like, wow, I didn't know that part. Or maybe people didn't even realize there were two different versions of the Captain EO, excuse me, of Another Part of Me on Captain EO and on the Bad album.
Right.
So,
Right. No.
yeah, I just love that we're able to like go back and figure it out. But it's
Yeah.
definitely like a puzzle that we're all piecing together.
Yeah, it is. It is. And yeah, again, it. I guess just depending, like in our minds, we're like, oh, if I know this, then everybody knows it. But it's not until you start having conversations with other people, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that that was a thing until you told me. So no, it's good to have conversations like this and be able to use your platform to reach as many people as you do. Somebody's bound to learn something from this conversation. So that's what it's about. That's how I think Michael's legacy and just the power of his music. I think that's how it lives on is through the rest of us.
Absolutely. And perfect segue into something that I learned for the first time on the Bad Special Edition album. Chris, do you remember that album that came out? I think it was 2001.
Yes, I still have all the reissues to this day. I still have my CD booklet. Yes, man,
Yes.
I wore that CD out.
Yes, you're a real one. There are like, I feel like a lot of the fans are just like, they don't know about this because it's not even really on YouTube or like the streaming platforms as much. You might be able to find it here and there, but
Right.
for those of you guys that might not know, or I'm just gonna remind you if you already do know, Bad Special Edition came out in 2001. There were a series of special edition albums, which hopefully we can do a video about sometime later on this year to rehash it
Sure.
all. But they had interviews with key collaborators, and one of the people that they interviewed was Quincy Jones, and he talked about Another Part of Me and a song that it was competing with to get on the Bad album called Streetwalker. And although I'm not going to play the clip from Bad Special Edition, I do have the quote that I'm going to read to you guys. And Chris, you might be familiar with this story.
Oh yes.
Okay, so this is according to Quincy Jones. This is a quote. Michael liked Streetwalker. I wanted to do Another Part of Me. He wrote both of them, so it didn't make any difference to him. We were going to listen to them, the three of us, objectively and decide which one was going to get picked. So his manager, Frank DeLeo, was sitting down when Streetwalker was on, and when Another Part of Me came on, he got up, and started dancing. And I said, "You're not helping Michael at all." It was so funny. Michael had a funny name for him like Rubber. Rubber, what are you doing, man? You just blew my whole case here. So DeLeo helped me get Another Part of Me onto the album because he started shaking his butt on it.
Yep. I have not heard that interview clip in years, and as you were reading it, I was saying it to myself. It's so weird how I still remember that. That's weird. But
Yeah,
yeah, I remember laughing so much when I first heard that.
it's such a good story. And okay, so I love Streetwalker, but I can't imagine it being on the Bad album in the place of Another Part of Me. How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
No, I agree. I've always described Bad as a musical Halloween, where Michael puts on a different costume for each song. Like he's trying on different moods and different personas. So I think
Musical
if you already
Halloween?
have, yeah, musical
I
Halloween.
love
That's how I
that.
describe it.
I just have to say I love that. Continue.
No, 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 you're good. You're good. So I think when you already have The Way You Make Me Feel, to me, it's kind of redundant if you have Streetwalker a few tracks later. It's like, you've already covered that ground as far as like him pursuing a woman, and he's got the hots for her, and that sort of thing. Pardon the pun. But, but yeah, like if you were to try to slide Streetwalker in there, it does change the whole album listening experience. And not that Streetwalker is a bad song. It's one of my favorites, but to me, I think it made sense to put Another Part of Me on there, because the very next song after that is Man in the Mirror, and I think that's a great segue from one song to the other.
Okay, yeah, I agree, and I just love the kind of like the imagery that you put in my mind about the Halloween costume thing. I'm still stuck on that because I'm now thinking about every track and seeing him because literally, like, yes, he does have the
Yeah,
costume, but there's also like the real literal visuals to almost every song on that album,
there you
and now
go.
it's in my head.
Yep, there you go. You're welcome.
So I want to talk a little bit about like the lyrics, just because you just
Yeah.
mentioned a part of the song. And when I think about the lyrics, like growing up to me, I honestly never really understood what the song was about. Like to
Mhm.
me, the point of it was very abstract when I was younger, when I was listening to it. Now
Yeah.
I listen to it, I'm like, okay, it's about all people coming together and like what's your interpretation of the song and how do you feel about the lyrics?
Yeah, 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 and I actually put this in my article, that the section of the article is called "MJ Takes Us All to Church." And the reason I said that is not only the lyrics, but his voice. Like, there's so much gospel flavor to it that I think we got to add the nickname "Vocal Bible" to the Michael Jackson lexicon anytime I hear him sing this song. But from a lyrical standpoint, it feels like a spiritual sequel to "Can You Feel It" from the Triumph album, because when you listen to the conviction and his sense of unity, on this lyric in particular, it's like, we're sending out a major love, and this is our message to you. The planets are lining up, we're bringing brighter days, they're all in line waiting for you. Can't you see you're just another part of me? So I can't help but think that there is a gospel element to that in the way that he sings it, to the lyrics themselves. And then you also consider that even though he just left the Jehovah's Witness faith around this time, he always gave credit to God for his creative gifts. And I think it's in an interview with Ebony around the same time. He said, "No one can quite say what the creative process is, because I have nothing to do with it. Almost, it's created in space. It's God's work, not mine."
Mm. I love that. I always used to feel like, come on, Michael, give us more information. But
Yeah.
I really, he said that so many times, like with this deep conviction. Like I really believe that. I mean, I now as I've gotten older and like I've understood more of what that means to like
Hmm.
receive that message. I get what he's saying. But it's just unbelievable because yeah, to think that all these like different ideas and messages came through to him, and then he was able to put that out in the world. And here we are in 2025, and he wrote this in 1985. We're still
Right.
talking about it and feeling that message. So I love that.
Yeah, and you can even kind of see kind of like the gospel element when he performs it on stage. I mean, he's connected to something that's out of this world. I mean, he's whooping, he's hollering, he's clapping, like he's unleashing, like he's just doing all kinds of crazy footwork on stage as if it like he's got the Holy Ghost. So I think it's all connected, that spiritual element. You could hear it in his voice, you see it in the lyrics, and you see it whenever he's on stage. I think it's all connected.
Yes, I love that. And everybody just saw a couple of those photos from the live performance of the song, the live version of the song. And now I
Mhm.
want to talk with you about that, Chris, because I have a clip that we're going to play next. And it's going to be a clip of Michael rehearsing for Another
Mhm.
Part of Me before he actually does it on stage. So let's watch it and chat about it after.
Yeah.
Right when he gets ready to, starts dancing.
Choreographer is rich and
Brother said like a finger snap, or just a simple shift of the foot meant everything.
Isn't it just like even exciting to watch him rehearse for some
It
reason?
is, man. Yeah, because I mean, he's not even going full out, but like you're still caught up in what he's doing, what the band is doing, the lights, everything just feels alive, even in rehearsal mode.
Yeah, that's like, I can't find any other words to like, that's the best way to put it. That's the thing. It really draws you in when you see Michael on stage, whether he's, rehearsing or whatever he's doing, you're just like, you want to take part in it. He's one of the
Mhm.
only people that can do that, by the way, still like to this day. Like, what other artist can command the stage in that way, whether he's in rehearsal or sitting down in a chair? Not
Yeah,
many people
no,
can do it.
that's an excellent point. I mean, Michael's known for like, the pyrotechnics and like just this wham bam, production style and all that stuff. But to me, I think where his genius really begins is like you could take all of that away and just put him on stage, put a spotlight, put a mic stand, and just let him sing or dance, and that it's gonna draw 80,000 to 100,000 people. Like that's enough to draw like get people in the door. So so yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. Like it's he's got the aura or the charisma to get you in the door, but he's got the talent to keep you there.
Yes. Oh my gosh, dropping so many great gems, Chris. Like, I'm just like, how can I add to that? I can't because you just said it so perfectly.
Thank you. I
Okay,
appreciate
now
it.
that you've set us up for this, now we have to watch a little clip of Michael doing another part of Me Bad, on the Bad tour, excuse me, from Kansas City, live from Kansas City.
Man,
I was
he
just
was he was in his bag, man. He's always in his bag, man. I love it.
I was just sitting here grooving like this is like the first time I'm watching it. Like you said, like I'm drawn in.
Hmm. Hmm. So real quick, that's in Kansas City in 1988, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, I have a really quick story I want to share just because the Kansas City connection. So, most of my family's from Kansas, both on my mom's side and my stepdad's side. That's actually where they first met many, many years ago. But I have a great aunt on my stepdad's side of the family who actually not only crossed paths with Michael Jackson but got his autograph. So here's how it happened: is that
Mm.
my great aunt and great uncle, they grew up, like big Kansas City Royals fans. Like they would follow the team and stuff. So they went to Orlando for their spring training, right? And when they're taking the plane back, they happen to sit next to somebody that looked like a huge bodyguard, and they're like, "Hey, like, are you famous or something?" And like they have no idea. Like they're just talking to the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm part of a band." Like he's trying to be real discreet, right?
Mhm.
And and they were just really kind to to the guy, and he turned around and said, "Hey, do you have a piece of paper?" And she's like, "Sure." And gave him a piece of paper and a pen, and he walked up to the front where first class was and came back, uh, and he came back a second time. He said, "Real quick, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Like, what'd you say your name was?" And she said, "Beverly." He's like, "Okay, I'll be right back." And then he went back again, came back with this to Beverly from Michael Jackson.
Ah, this is crazy. Wait, show that again. Show that again. I
Sure,
need to
sure,
see
yeah,
it for a
yeah,
couple more seconds.
yeah.
I
There you
need to
go.
feel the energy off of it. Wait, zoom out, zoom out.
Okay.
Oh man. That is just the coolest story. And that is the real autograph?
That is the real autograph. And yeah, funny story is that for years my aunt has had this, and she's known me since I was 8 years old. And she didn't bother to tell me until like 5 years ago, like, "Oh yeah, I've had this autograph." I'm like, "Aunt Bev, I thought we were tight. Like, why are you just now telling me this?"
What?
So
What?
so for years I'm like, man, I cannot believe my Aunt Bev she has Michael Jackson's autograph just stored away in her vault somewhere. And so fast forward 3 years later, I'm flying into Kansas with my family. I've got a cousin that's getting married, and my Aunt Bev shows up, and I haven't seen her in a while. So I'm like, "Hey, Aunt Bev, good to see you." Da da da. And she has this manila envelope in her purse, and she says, "Here." And I'm like, "Aunt Bev, what is this?" And she's like, "Well, open it." I opened it, and my jaw hit the floor. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like are you giving this to me? She's like, yeah, if there's anybody that I know that'll appreciate it, it's you. So it's yours. And I'm like,
Wow.
I gave her the biggest hug, and it's still one of the best gifts I've ever received. So, and it was such a big deal when she got back. She and my uncle got back, is that they did like a whole newspaper story on them, and I have the whole printout of when they originally wrote that in 1988. So I'll always have that with me.
Wow, and I have the chills right now, and I don't even I'm just like I'm removed from this story, you guys. I'm not even but I literally have goosebumps and I don't even know why. Like it's just
I know.
so that's such a cool moment.
Yeah. So it's funny. Like Michael's on a plane. I've got a family member that's on the, or two family members that are on the plane with him, and as soon as he lands in Kansas City, he shows up at that concert, and that's the clip that we just watched.
Wow. And
Yeah.
Michael was flying commercial then.
Yeah, he was flying commercial. His band was there, and he was sitting in first class. And she and my uncle were getting off the plane. They happened to catch a glimpse of him, and it's in the article that was written. He had his fedora, he had his Letterman's jacket from the Thriller video, and he had his Ray-Bans on. And he was just sitting there, just reading a magazine. Like he was just super chill.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Michael, everybody and these meeting Michael stories. It's
I
just
know,
funny because
man.
I literally just filmed a video a couple weeks ago telling my story of how I almost met Michael Jackson.
Oh wow.
And I was just heartbroken that it didn't happen, but it does make my heart warm to hear when other people like had those close encounters.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely happy for them. But I'm like, man, what I would give to at least just to see him once, and I even like, I'm not asking for anything. I simply want to say thank you. Like that's the one thing I wish I could have been able to say, is just say thank you.
I
That's it.
know, me too.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
So thank you for sharing that story, by the
No, you're
way.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share it.
Yeah, and comment down below, guys. Like, leave us a thumbs up on this video if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, watching on Spotify, or any other platform. Make sure that you get that story. We deserve. Okay, this episode deserves a 5-star review. So leave those 5 stars, and yeah, give us your feedback. And yeah, that story was so cool.
No. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share it. That's actually the first time I've ever shared it out in public, period. Like my family knows about it, but this is the first, like this is the first time I've ever broken it out publicly.
Wow. Bad
Yeah.
tour, throwback to the bad tour gems.
Mhm.
Well, okay, so we've talked about the Kansas City show. And so I want to kind of round this episode out by talking about the short film, because I think this is also really important. It's really closely tied to the bad tour because it was filmed on location. Let me read a couple facts that I have here about the short film. So the short film was a live concert film from Michael's 1988 Bad World Tour. It was directed by Patrick Kelly. Official video was released in 1988. For those that don't know, the Bad Tour ran from, I believe, 87 to 89. So,
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
right?
September 87 to January 89.
Perfect. So, right, somewhere in there. And the footage includes performances from Wembley Stadium, Rotterdam, and some other locations during June and July. And it seems like they also have some footage from shows in Paris. So yeah, if you have not seen the video, by the way, check it out on YouTube. But also, if you want it on DVD, because Chris and I, we're both from that era. We still have our DVDs, right, Chris?
Yes. Oh, most
Okay.
definitely. Yeah, still got it.
Don't leave me hanging here. I can't be the only
No.
one with the DVD player.
No. I got you.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm linking the Vision DVD right here down below, so you guys can click to purchase that. But yeah, so let's watch a little clip of the introduction to the Another Part of Me video, and then we'll come back and chat more about it. Ah,
Man, that was a bad boy right there. I
I
don't know. I don't know
love
about y'all.
love that. Okay, can I just say something? Because
Yeah.
this was what I watched as a kid that I knew for sure when I grew up, I was gonna be in a stadium somewhere, like hoping not to pass out like these people, waiting for Michael Jackson to come out on stage.
Oh
Like
man.
this was the scene I wanted to be a part of.
And that to me, like, and I know you and I have talked about this already, but I'll say it again for anybody that's new to the channel. For anybody that wasn't alive when Michael was alive, it's really difficult to comprehend how big this man was. So when I see online people like, oh, like Beyonce or Taylor Swift or Chris Brown, they're as big as Michael. I'm like, it's not even close. And here's why is like we saw in that clip there, like people would camp out for weeks in front of the venue to get tickets. And then when they show up to the venue and they run up to the front to get the best seating in the house and just seeing him on stage, he hadn't even performed a song yet. They're just so excited to see him that they pass out and then they have to be carted off to the ambulance and they miss the whole show. Like,
All
like
that effort.
that's yeah, all that effort. That's a different type of fame right there. Like there's Michael Jackson, then there's everybody else. He's the most famous person since Jesus Christ, bar none.
Seriously, like, and even you just describing that gives me goosebumps. Like, I cannot imagine I can't just imagine being wrapped up into that. Like,
Yeah.
if there are any people down below in the comments or watching this or listening to this, and you participated, you went to see the bad show, or even if you waited outside the stadium and just listened, leave us a comment and let us know. Because,
Seriously.
right? Like, just to be like there,
Mhm.
experiencing it all. Or not even that. Like, imagine coming home and watching the news and seeing a news about the concert the night before, and just wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I
But
wonder,
or
sorry,
no. Go ahead. Go ahead and finish your thought.
kind of unrelated but related. I wonder, what did these people do about the bathroom? Did they just dehydrated, or did they diaper? Like, I want to know. Because that when they ran to the front had to have been like 7 or 8 a.m. They had to have opened the gates way earlier than Michael coming out there, right?
I would think. I mean, I'm sure they probably because I would think the show probably started. I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock, maybe. So if they're opening gates early, I'm guessing 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Michael gets on stage. That's a 2.5 hour show. Like I don't think anybody wants to dare to leave to go to the bathroom or go get food or something. Like because you're
No.
gonna lose your spot because you're gonna be like several thousand people back. You ain't gonna get your spot back.
Right.
Like that's festival seating. It's not like, oh, this is my assigned seat. No, you done lost it.
Yeah, exactly. Please let us know if you are aware of the logistics of going to see Michael Jackson at a stadium concert. We would like to know.
So real quick, I have a question because longtime fans know that Michael didn't like the term music video. He always referred to what he did as short films. Would you consider another part of me a short film or a music video? Because there's really no narrative here. There's no beginning, middle, end. It's not like Smooth Criminal or Bad or what have you. But I can kind of make an argument for it being a short film. But what are your thoughts before I say what I got to say?
Actually, I think that this does count as a short film because to me, it's like a mini documentary. That's how I feel about it, because it does tell that story of the bad tour. Like, to me, the story is the bad tour and like the hysteria of it and all that the bad tour was. So that's what I think in a short way to put it. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree with you. And I think that's that montage at the beginning, like it sets the tone for what the Michael Jackson experience is going to be like when you get there. It's like, why is he as big as he is? Like, why are people reacting to him that way? And it seems like the only moments of peace that he gets is when he's by himself, in the boat or wherever. It's like he's away from having to be a pop star. He could just be a human being. But when he's on stage, he's on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the visuals tell the story for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be like Smooth Criminal or Bad or Leave Me Alone. It could just be like Michael is being himself in this mini movie.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like you said, there are a lot of different ways to look at the songs on the Bad album and like kind of like the different costumes, right? And this is,
Hmm.
I think, the Bad tour was this record breaking tour. It kind of like, set a new benchmark for people to live up to after it. And so this was kind of like that portion of it, and I think it's cool that that song allows us to see a part of the Bad era, not just
Hmm.
the album, not just the real short films, but also the tour. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, let's do any closing remarks, any last statements or things you want to share about Another Part of Me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So since we just wrapped up talking about the tour, I did want to make this comment real quick. Is that the Bad tour to me is the most comprehensive Michael Jackson experience that you could ask for. Because if you go back to Off the Wall, there really wasn't much of a budget, so that you don't have a lot of music, short films, that sort of thing. Thriller, of course, like that's his most successful, but we never got a world tour because he was with his brothers at the time, and we only got 3 short films out of that. Whereas with Bad, you know, you get the full experience there, and he does a full tour for 2 years, and then by the time the Dangerous tour comes along, yes, you get more Michael, but it did get cut short because of the tour got canceled. He was having some health issues, and then of course, the 1993 allegations came about. So to me, like that makes the Bad tour that much more special to me, is that you truly get to see Michael at the peak of his powers. Um, but as a song, for Another Part of Me, again, and I understand there'll always be fans that worship at the feet of Off the Wall and Thriller, like, oh, this is, these are his best albums, da da da. But I think when people have that perspective, it makes songs like Another Part of Me risk becoming more underrated than they already are. Because I believe Michael's goal was leaving the world a little better than how he found it. And a song like this captures the essence of who he is. What about you?
I mean, how can I follow up to that? That was that this is your favorite song, so I feel like you are just hitting on all the points. Um, I couldn't have said it any better. Yeah, it's just it's a song that has an amazing underlying message. The short film is just so much fun to watch, and it's one of those songs that, like you said, it does leave the world a little bit better, in a little bit better place. It just, it's one of those songs that anybody can relate to from any background or ethnicity or age or perspective. Like Michael Jackson's music just really brought people together, and I think this is one of those key songs that does that in a less obvious way than something like a Heal the World or We Are the World or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's Another Part of Me.
Yeah,
What
that's it, man. That's a full lid. Thank you.
what's
That's
the
awesome.
what's the name of the article that you wrote so that people can check it out?
Yeah, the article name is "I'm Sorry, Another Part of Me, You're Underrated." That's
Okay,
it.
we'll be linking it in the show notes. And yeah, thank you for chatting with me about Another Part of Me.
Yeah, thank you.
For more MJ Fangirl, join the members only Patreon for an exclusive library of content just for you, as well as these in studio videos ad free. And a special shout out always goes to Marlis. You are our platinum sponsor and you are the absolute best. Thank you. See you guys next time.